Hello everybody, PC Wizard, and welcome to episode 4 of my Horizons mod pack series. Now today I want to get into magic. We're going to start with Ars Magica, and I'm going to set it up in the building down here. But first couple steps you have to do, they're kind of interesting. They're different. First thing we need is a book. So, piece of leather and 3 pieces of paper, standard book. And we also need an item frame. So, another piece of leather surrounded by sticks. And that gives us a frame. Alright, now this we need to take out into the world. We need to find a very specific type of pool, an essence pool, that will basically give us our instruction book. I know there's one of these pools right over here. Not that one. Should be right over here. Pretty close. Right here. Alright. So these essence pools is what we need. Now you need, there is a certain range. It has to be like within 2 blocks. So I think this might work. But if we put the item frame on the ground like that, and then place the book in it. I just heard something. Now you see all of these particle effects start happening. And what's happening is this book is being infused with magic and becoming your arcane compendium, which is a really nice instruction book. Breaks everything down that you need to have. Instructions on how to do a lot of the stuff, and that's going to be your compendium, your companion, guiding you through everything. So it's pretty cool. Now, this essence is going to be used for stuff in the future, so I actually want to take this with me. You cannot make an infinite pool of it, I don't believe. Let's just check. Nope. See, there you go. You cannot make your own infinite pool of it. But if you, scoop it up and transport it, it will retain its properties. So that'll be helpful for us. Now that we have the Arcane Compendium, the book that's going to instruct us how to do everything, we will begin looking at the first step. First thing we need to make is called an oculus. And it's an interesting little device, kind of creepy in a way. Let's see, if you look at the book, in here it talks about like your first spell. And that's what Ars Magica is like, focused around spells and casting spells. So it says your first spell here, you first need to create an oculus and unlock at least one spell shape and one component. And it goes on to talk about more stuff, but this is what we need, first is this oculus. And to create the oculus, it's going to be 1 blue topaz, 2 pieces of coal, 3 smooth stones, and 1 piece of glass. Or not. Maybe this recipe changed. Let's see. Spell Oculus, can't click on it. They highlight words, but they're not clickable links, which is a little unfortunate. Modifiers, structure, nope. Items, blocks, Oculus. There we go. Oh, 3 bricks. That's what it is. Okay. So I need 1 more smooth stone or some bricks. There we go. There's bricks. Alright. So 3 bricks. 1 piece of glass. 2 pieces of coal and a blue topaz. Gives us the oculus. So we're going to have that. I also need I need a door on this other building. So I like to stick with my iron doors, keep mobs out. Let's see, a pressure plate and a button. Okay. Now, one little sidetrack moment I wanted to show you. The ender lilies. This is the fully grown state. You can see there's some particle effect going on. You can also see it's got like these, little blue or little lighter colored objects up the outsides of the leaves. So if you just break these, you will get one ender pearl and one ender lily seed out of each one. It's my understanding there's a very, very rare drop that you can get two seeds out of one. But the other nice thing is that they grow faster on endstone. Now, being as how we've got the Farlander house over there that's unoccupied, I just took a couple endstone from their walls and we're going to put these on there. And then these should end up growing a lot faster now. Alright, now back to this. Let's get the door put on. Right here. Door and a button. And a pressure plate. I really should just use obsidian pressure plates outside to be much easier. Alright, so the Oculus. We're going to go ahead and put this down. Now, I told you it's kind of creepy in a way. If you look at the center spot, it follows you around. It's like an eye. So, kind of cool, kind of weird. Alright, but if you right click on this, you're going to see the whole skill tree for all your spell components. Now, as you progress through spells, you're going to earn skill points. And then you can come in here and you can assign the skill points to various number of components to use for your spells. Now, you start with 3 points, and then every 2 levels that you increase, you'll get another skill point. So you start with 3. At level 3, you'll get 1 more point. At level 5, you get another one, so on. And then you come in here and you choose where to assign them. Now, you'll see there's different color text for different components. So you start with just blue points. Green points and red points further on down the skill tree. You'll earn blue points until around level 21. Then you'll start earning green, then you'll start earning red. Now, these skill points can be assigned to any of the different tabs or different categories of spells. There's offensive, defensive, utility, and talents. And, they all kind of do different things. I usually specialize in offensive spells just because I love casting fireballs. So, even though there's 4 different categories, you're not going to have enough skill points to complete all of them. You're probably not even going to have enough skill points to complete 2 of them. Some of them, definitely have less than others, so you may be able to, if you watch kind of how you spread them out, but you definitely want to pick one tree to be your focus, and make sure you're assigning your points over there before you start spending them in other categories. One of the great things with this mod is the fact that you don't have to personally learn a component to use it. Now, you have to learn a component in order to add it to a spell, but you can combine with other players. So another player can make an entire spell, and then you can cast it. Or you can work with another player to combine, to mutually build one spell out of multiple components that each other knows. So there's a lot of variety. There's so many different branches that you can go through here and everything. So definitely, if you're playing on a server with friends, definitely work together and try to come up with various combinations of things you can do, because the whole great feature about this mod is the fact that you're not just making a spell, you're making your spells. You decide what you're going to put in them and how you want them built. So it's really up to your imagination. Okay, so I think it's time to start spending my skill points. Now, like I said, I want to do offensive spells. So I'm going to go ahead and select projectile because that's the root of it. You have to start there. Now you see it highlights the one I've chosen and it changes the line colors of everything. So now I can see the names of the next items and it's got the line color changes so I can, know that I can choose them. So now if we look in the Arcane Compendium under the spell components, you're going to see that they're broken into different things. There's shapes, components, and modifiers. The shape is the type of spell. Component is a piece, like a piece of what the spell does, and then your modifiers is going to adjust the spell in some way. But definitely take the time to read through these to kind of get an understanding of it. But if we look in here, projectile is the shape, and then physical damage is the component. And then these other ones, these diamond-shaped ones, are the modifiers. We have gravity and bounce that we can choose from in this case. So I don't know how they all necessarily interact with each other. I've only gotten a little ways into this previously. But we're going to take projectile. We're going to take physical damage because we know we want to hurt somebody because it's an offensive spell. And then I have one more I could assign to either fire damage or magic damage. Or I could use one of these. Let's take bounce. I don't know what it's going to do. Alright, so I've used all my points that I can allocate. So I've learned these components of spells, but now it's a matter of what to do with them. The next thing to do with them is the research table. Oh, I keep clicking on the wrong one. First spell. Inscription table is the next thing we need to make. An inscription table is going to allow us to create a book. Illusion blocks, no. Inscription table. Wow. Okay, so slabs, blocks, a feather, a spell parchment, and a torch. Alright, so we definitely need to go back to the other building. And I'm not sure if I have a feather in here already. I might. I do have a couple chickens penned up if I need to. Nope, no feathers. Alright, so we do need... Oh, I got the wood on me. Let's go ahead and make it daytime. And go kill a chicken. Let's also go breed a couple chickens. I just put this chicken pen up, so we don't have very many so far. There is another egg there, which is a good thing. You and you, come on. Come on. There we go. Now give me a feather. Thank you. So cruel. Alright. So we need, let's look at what that was again. A torch, a spell parchment, and a feather. A spell parchment is 2 sticks and a piece of paper. And alright, we got sticks, we got paper. So 2 sticks, piece of paper. Gives us spell parchment. And we need more wood here. So planks and let's see, feather, feather, spell parchment, and torch. And we have an inscription table. Now, inscription table is going to allow us to craft our spells. Alright, to write spell books. Alright, let's go ahead and set this one here. When you right click on it, you get this interface. It shows you everything you know up here, and then it wants this book and quill in here, which is something I need to make. Is it just a book and a feather? Nope, I probably need ink, don't I? Let's see. Book and quill. Yep, I need a black dye or ink sac, something like that. Let me go grab a piece of dye. Okay, kill the squid. So now we can make the book and quill so that we can use our inscription table. So it's going to be a feather, an ink sac. Oh, I got raw calamari from killing the squid too. And a book. There it is. Book and quill. So now in the inscription table, place the book and quill in here. And now you can just drag down the pieces you want to use. So you want projectile. And now it lights these ones up because you can use these. And we want physical damage. And we're going to throw the bounce on there as well. We don't have to, but we're going to toss that in there anyway just because I don't know what it does. And we can give it a name here, and let's see. Let's just, like I told you before, I'm horrible with names. Let's just call it throw something. And then you take the book, and you can see it's already named, says throw something. Now you can't really do anything with this. If you look at it, it does give you a material list. This is now, so we took the spell components that we learned, we assembled those to create a spell. Now the spell is giving us a recipe list. This recipe list is going to be used in another structure. And this is another thing we have to build. It's a world build. So it's a, kind of like the smeltery was. Assemble the box and it forms the object. If we look at the Arcane Compendium, what we need to make is the structures. That's where we gotta go. Structures. Crafting altar. I thought it was called crafting altar. We gotta make this thing. It's gonna be interesting. A lot of different components. Now you're seeing it made out of different materials. Different materials will allow different things to happen. Basically add more effects that you can add to your spell. The effects are basically like the number of items in your spell. So I'm not sure exactly the way they count. If, like the spell we made, if that has just one effect or it has two effects. I think it has two, but you're going to see no matter how you make this, every spell has can have a minimum of two effects on it. So what they're listing here is the main blocks in order of power, or the main base structure, which is like here you're seeing the nether brick, the cobblestone. All this is made out of one material, and it adds different effects depending what you make it out of. And then these capstones, the one down in the bottom center, and the ones up on the top, these allow additional effects. So they can be made out of different materials. They don't have to match like a certain capstone to a certain building structure. You can mix and match them any way you want. So I'm going to gather resources for this, and then we're going to assemble it. Be right back. Okay, we're back, and I've got all the materials that we need to complete the crafting altar and create our first spell. First of all, the crafting altar, I've made it out of witchwood. Just went and cut down a witchwood tree, turned it into planks, and then if you look in the book, it shows the altar here, and you can actually toggle through each layer to see exactly how to construct it. So a pretty straightforward build. Now the next thing is the other components that we need. We need the cap pieces, we need a lectern, a lever, and these magic walls, as well as the final crafting altar block itself. Alright, to make these, let's see. I'm going to use gold for all the capstones. So go ahead and toss these up on here. And, oh, not the right spot. And over there. Alright, so all the capstones are in place. Next thing we need to do is make the magic walls. And those are actually fairly simple. I need Vintium dust, which is used created just by cooking Vintium ore that you find. That gives me 16 magic walls. So that's a pretty cheap recipe. And then a piece of Vintium dust and a stone block will give us the crafting altar we need. The last thing would be the lectern, which is 3 planks and 3 slabs and 1 plank. And there we go. So the magic walls go in these spots on the side, which is just a block you can see through and you can't walk through it. So I'm not sure if it has other properties other than that. Alright, so that's the walls. We need the crafting altar placed in the top. We need the lectern. Actually going to go over on this side with it. Let's put the lectern here. And then the lever, which is going to have later uses. Just going to put that over there. It can actually go anywhere on any of the pieces. That's it. That's the altar. Now to make the spell. Now, as far as the spell goes, I had to create a new one. It's for the simple fact that the requirements for the spell the first spell I made, I can't do right now. There's more that has to go into making it. So if we look at the original spell, it requires this earth essence. And that's a whole nother area of stuff that I don't want to get into right now. So I created a new one. Basically I just left the bounce out of it. So this is just the projectile and physical damage. And so you get a slightly different material list for it. So iron sword, red rune, snowball, Vintium dust, and an arrow. And the affinity breakdown is that plays into like talents that you earn, like aspects that you're more powerful with, from my understanding. So, alright, now to make this spell. First thing you're going to do is you're going to take the spell book you created and you're going to right click it onto the lectern. And it just sits there. You can click on it, you can read it, you can double check what's in there. Let's see. To start this, we need a rune. To make runes, simply just cobblestone, 6 pieces of cobblestone will give you 2 blank runes. Now we do need to take one of these and turn it into a red rune. So just like that we have all these different components. I want to put these all in my hotbar because we're going to have to access them as we work our way through this spell and creating it. Alright, just like that. So first thing we need to do, we need to make sure we have all these items. And 2 things it doesn't tell you that you need that you need for every spell is a blank rune and the spell parchment. Okay, so what you're going to do, you're going to start the process by throwing a blank rune in here, and you literally just toss it in there. Now you see some particle effects start happening, and the book here tells you the next item that you need to throw in there. So it wants a Vintium Dust. Now it wants an arrow and a snowball, which I had to do quite a trek to find snowballs, to find a mountain with some snow on it. And now it wants a red rune, an iron sword, and now it wants a spell parchment. So when we throw this in here, it's going to complete the process. And here we go. We have, if we just walk in here and pick it up, we now have a projectile spell. Now, if you hold it in your hotbar, you select it as active. When you right click, this is the first thing that's going to come up every time, every spell you make. This gives you a chance to actually change the name of the spell if you want. We're going to call this, now I know this is going to throw out like balls of earth, so I'm going to call it Rock Pummel. And that's probably spelled wrong, but we'll just go with it. And the next thing you can do is choose the icon you want to use for it, which there should be, here we go. These look like rocks or meteors or something here, so we'll just pick one of these. And when you're all done, I think you just escape. Yep. Press escape. It names it. It gives it the icon, so you can see now in our taskbar. It shows us the mana cost and the name of it, as well as the icon that it chose for it. Now, the mana cost, if you look at the GUI down, the toolbar down at the bottom, on the right-hand side, you're going to see a blue bar. That's the amount of mana. The left side, the red, that's your burnout level. The more you cast spells, the quicker you cast spells, the more your burnout builds. You need to stop casting, and that will go down. Not exactly sure what happens if you max that out. But then the blue number in the center, number 1, that's our current level. So if we come outside, it happens to be nighttime. So I have the spell active. Alright, there's a skeleton over here. If we right click, there it goes. A little delay. And it's casting the spell. I'm getting quite a delay on it though for some reason. There it goes. You see, it's not doing much damage. It's only doing like 1 point of damage to this zombie with the armor. But as we successfully hit him, we're gaining experience, which we can use. And this is saying we're already level 6. So we actually gain a lot of experience very quickly there. And if we come back to the Oculus, we now have two more points that we can spend, which will allow us to expand the amount of pieces of spells that we know, create more complex or different types of spells. And I think that's pretty much going to be about the basics of it. In future episodes, it's definitely going to be getting into the essences. I definitely need to play around with them a bit more first to really learn about them. I know some of the basics, but there's definitely more details I need to find. And other than that, I think we've reached a good wrapping up point here for today. So we're going to go ahead and call this an episode. And I am PC Wizard, been playing with Ars Magica 2. Thanks for watching.